Should be finding the agenda. Have you noticed that person on that meeting recording seems to have a speech impediment? A little bit of a lisp. I mean, what's up with that? All right, so here we are at the meeting of November 3rd, and we're Zooming it, and we're recording it, and there it is. Can we quickly approve the minutes of last meeting? Was there any changes that needed to be made?
I saw
Proof.
none. All good.
Everything
Approved.
good?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's go with it. So Brad Foster, I mean, that guy just, we never seem to get away from him.
No kidding.
He, I don't remember why we got into communication, but I guess he wanted to know if he's supposed to destroy the old well. Yes. But I looked at the well permit, and they had filled it out, and they hadn't filled it out right. They checked repair existing approved system, which there's basically no such thing, and not new construction old dwelling, and not destruction of a well. So I just want to revise the well permit so that it will be the way it's supposed to be.
Do we have to get them to fill out a new application?
I don't think so. I think we can just revise the one that we have, just mark it. That's what
right.
I think. So is
Okay.
everybody okay with that? Is anybody not okay with it?
We're just going to inform
Okay.
them we're revising it, Kat.
Yeah, I discussed it with Brad, and I said,
Okay.
yes, you have to, you're supposed to destroy the old well, and this is how they do it. And, and I said, if anybody comes back to do the testing or whatever, because their new well is in, but it's not, it's not all set. If somebody comes back and puts the new well online and can cap the old well, go ahead and do it. Right, we'll catch up with the permit later because it's so hard to get anybody to do anything. So I'll just either rewrite or take the old well permit and mark it up and send it back out.
So
Meanwhile, I mean, the well's in, so it's kind of a formality.
I guess the only concern I have is if the application is among the documents that's saved and part of the record of this, then say the next time there's a transfer of title or something needs to go on at that property, is that going to cause any problems that the application did not represent the job that was done?
Well, we would have a revised application. Yeah, I mean, the application and the permit are the same thing, right? Because they apply and then we sign
Got it. I understand. Okay.
So there will be an updated document that actually reflects the situation on the ground or in the ground.
All right. I'm good with this then. Yep.
Any other concerns or comments on that?
These are both deep wells, drilled wells?
I believe, yes, the new one certainly, and I think the old one too, although I don't know too much about the old well.
He sent a long-winded story, didn't he?
He did.
A very long saga about the history of this whole thing.
Right.
Which was one of these too long, didn't read some things, honestly.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not sure if he described the old well.
But it's failed somehow.
I think that's a good question. I don't know if it's that the well failed or I guess that's it.
As I recall, he was concerned about water quality.
Right.
I have the answer here in his saga, the email to the Board of Health, which he titles The Saga of Our Well and Septic Work. He writes in the second paragraph, he says, and that started a long education on wells and ultimately a search for someone to drill a new deep well to replace our old shallow well.
Oh, okay. So the old well is shallow, and that's quite a bit easier.
Perfect.
And then it's the well is destroyed by, they fill it up with rocks and then they cap it with bentonite clay. So yeah, a shallow well especially needs to be filled up because it's basically open to contamination from surface water and groundwater, and it then can contaminate deeper water.
Mhm.
So it's good to destroy it. So he knows that, and he seems pretty conscientious. I expect that he will do it. So Mark Olszewski, that guy kind of got, fell through the cracks. He's building a new house there next to the old house, and he has applied for a septic system. He's paid his fees. He's signed the application. Charlie has reviewed it actually some time ago. So we can go ahead and issue the permit unless anybody has any concerns about it.
Nope.
I'm just curious, is this closer to town on Wendell Road?
I'm not sure if it's uphill or downhill of the old place.
Well, no, I just wondered where it is on Wendell Road. Is it near
Oh, it's right.
town? Or
No, it's right next to his old place.
well, I
Which
don't
is
know
in
where its
between-
old place
in-
is.
In
my problem.
between
it's
the lake
down-
and me. It's in between the
Okay,
lake and me.
okay, thank you,
Yeah,
thank
on,
you.
Right.
on the same
Right.
side that I
On
am.
that
Okay.
side. Sorry,
Okay, thank you.
I thought you knew where it was.
No, I don't.
Uh-huh. So yeah, it's way down there.
It's at the bottom of Harry's Hill and then some
Okay,
further down.
Harry's
you.
Harry's Hill. Huh?
I was just curious.
Sure.
Oh, yes, everyone,
It's-
doesn't everyone call that Harry's Hill?
I didn't know that
No.
was what it was called, but possibly everybody in your neighborhood does.
Well, everyone.
I
who
call it
tries
Killer
to-
Hill when I'm on my bike.
Everyone who tries to bicycle it calls
Killer Hill.
Harry's Hill.
Harry's hell of a hill.
Yeah, right. It could be that too.
Right. Is it for Harry?
Masterton.
Yeah, couldn't think of his name.
Yeah.
So Greg Steve's place, I have not heard back from Greg. I didn't think to ask him until like Monday night to update us on that. But last we knew, he was working away on it. So
His current deadline is what? I know he's.
well,
gotten
his
an
current
extension.
deadline is like now because we've been
Yeah.
giving him these 1 month extensions, and I should have
Right.
warned him in
He has-
advance.
He has not asked for yet another extension, has he?
He hasn't. We haven't had any back and forth.
Yeah.
But
I, you know, as long as he's making a good faith effort to keep it going, then
yeah,
That's okay, but-
last we knew, I remind you, he had the soil tested. They had a demolition company on contract, and he had the soil tested, and then they have to see if there's anything hazardous. Or he had something tested. I'm not sure. He had to do some kind of hazardous materials test
Mhm.
so that they don't make a big contaminated mess when they actually get
Mm.
around to tearing it down. I still think it's going to fall down all by itself by the time he gets around to it.
It might, yeah.
Yeah. That's
right.
what I asked him years ago already. You're going to knock that down or wait till it falls down by itself? I kind of expected him to say, I'm waiting till it falls down.
So meanwhile, the pile of stuff in his current driveway is growing by
Mhm.
leaps and bounds. And is that, I don't know if any of the rest of you have noticed that, but
Yeah, I just drove by there and I did notice it.
it's
And-
expanding. And
Yeah.
I don't know whether that represents stuff he has moved out of the damaged place. I would be
I think
surprised that
I
there's
think
anything
so.
still. So is that a concern on our part at all? I don't know that it violates any health codes, but it is impressive.
What would be the concern that you would have?
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
what part of this would be concerning if you were concerned? I mean, is it the fact that there's a lot of stuff in the driveway? Or
Yeah, I guess
that
so,
stuff's
but
outside, or that
when
the
I try
stuff
to
could
put
be-
a finger on that, I guess that as long as there's safe egress from the house, then that probably does not violate any housing or sanitary codes, right? I guess. I'm just.
I
thinking
think
out
that's
loud here.
so. I think that's so.
Yeah, okay.
And I know that he goes there practically every day and has been taking
Yeah.
stuff out and trying to salvage it. So the
Right.
fact that more and more stuff is going over there is a good sign.
It's a good
that he's-
sign, sure.
That he's in a
Yeah.
hurry now to get it out of the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, and he's gotta put it somewhere, so yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I was up there today, but I failed to notice that there was more. Well, good. I expect we'll hear from him in a day or two, and if not, I will reach out again
Mhm.
and just make sure that we're on track.
Mhm.
Yeah. That'd be good.
So what else do we need to hear about? You guys have stuff to tell us? Anybody?
Who's sponsoring that vaccine bus?
Apparently it's FERCog, I
Huh.
think. Is that right, Noreen? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't go to the roundtable meeting.
Based on
I
the
think-
flyer, it's FERCog.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Okay.
And do we want to get the word out further? I know Marianne has sent word out, but she probably doesn't
Yeah.
hit everyone in town. Maybe she hits more than we do, but do we want to in turn also spread that word?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we can
Okay.
send it out with our message or send out a separate message. And I'm not sure if we can put the flyer on Town Announce, but we can publicize the event and then put the flyer on our website where they
Sure.
could look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the school obviously is publicizing it. Marianne's got sign up in the flyer up in the library, and it's up in Town Hall. And it would be good if there was one at the post office. I can't think of anywhere else. I mean, we could use the town, the bulletin boards.
I think the fact that the school, because the age group, unless kids have school choiced out of town,
Mhm.
the age group is such that the school sending it out will hit everyone.
And the
There may
library.
be- And the library, right, but there may be a few school choice kids whose families won't get that, but
Right, but they'll probably get it from their other school.
right,
Right.
right.
I was just going to say something about that, and I lost my thread.
It's bound to generate some, if we put it in our report, there's bound to be some, opposition.
I consider that
so-
comic relief.
So be it.
Yeah, so
So
be
be
it
it.
is right.
Yeah,
It's
right.
it's just be prepared for it and. yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, I can practically write the email from a certain person myself, and maybe I should. Don't bother. I got it. The thing about it is it's not just for kids. It can also be for their parents and caregivers, or for people who don't have any kids and just want to go get vaccinated at the bus.
Okay. I did not
So
realize that. Good.
yeah, it's
good.
on the flyer somewhere
Okay.
further
I
further
did read
down. I
that flyer,
guess.
but I must have missed that. Okay.
Okay, so it makes sense to send it out to the tiny fraction of people who actually get the town announces. But I think we do hit some people that aren't reachable in some other ways. The other day, I was thinking of sending out maybe not a link, because we're not supposed to link to things that aren't official, but a kind of a notice. Did anybody listen to the TED Radio Hour this week? There was an interview. There was a segment on a person who works on the mRNA vaccines and the whole mRNA technology, and it was so interesting. And I thought that I would put that in one of our messages, saying, if you're interested in the science of this, you could check out this TED Talk and whatnot. If nobody objects.
I think that's a great idea. It'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
it was quite interesting. It was about this person was talking about how you package it so that it gets to the right place in the right time and isn't killed by your immune system on the way and stuff. It was cool.
I suppose I should have attended the roundtable and I might know more about this, but I'm wondering if we'll get any feedback about how many kids or families or what percentage of folks do respond to this positively and get their kids vaccinated. Anybody know if there's any?
I think we
Well-
would start to see it in the weekly DPH reports. We'll start to see reporting of numbers for 5 to 11, I would think.
Okay, that's probably true.
I can ask Jackie, Principal Jackie, if she would share some numbers with us, if in fact I'm sure they will compile numbers, but I can ask her.
I would just think
to keep us
it would be
posted,
kind of
but-
interesting to see
Yeah.
how many, respond
Absolute-
positively to
absolute-
that. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I would think that Jackie would share that, or
Yeah.
Katie would share it as
Sure.
pretty much
Yeah.
as a matter of course, just the numbers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just the numbers.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, let me make a little note here. So we want to have the. Okay. So maybe toward the end of the week, or maybe I should, when's the first
Of those,
of those vac here?
Clinics?
Yeah,
12th of November.
okay,
Yeah.
so that's coming
Arlene-
up pretty soon.
Arlene, do you know, are they going to offer 5 to 11 at the clinic location in Amherst?
I don't know that, but I'm sure it's up on their website. I, by the way, I'm no longer working for the town of Amherst.
Ah,
My stint with them, I thought, was only going to be to the end of June, and it went until end of October. But I did not want to continue doing that through the winter. So I have stepped down. They have a couple of other people. And by the way, the CTC, or Contact Tracing Collaborative, is coming to an end. The
Ah.
last day to send any cases over to them is November 1st. No, excuse me, November 30th, and they will wrap up all of their functions by December 31st. That's what it is. So no more referrals can happen after the last of this month. But I don't anticipate we would need that. So,
right, we haven't hardly needed it so far.
yeah, I mean, absent a winter surge, let's just cross our fingers and
Yeah.
hope that's not happening. Yeah.
Right. And is it expiring because of funding running out, or just the
Question.
contract running out, or is there a sense that it's not needed anymore?
I'm not sure about that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hmm.
I can try to get back to you about that.
It's not crucial. I'm just kind of curious.
Um,
What I'm hoping is there's thinking this is winding down, and we don't expect lots of big surges or whatever.
mhm.
I think it has to do with the state pushing out regional funding for case investigation for regional epidemiology, and that communities are going to collaborate to sort of replicate what the CTC did.
I see.
So the answer
point.
to the question about will the ages 5 to 11 people interested in vaccination have access to the clinic in Amherst, and they may not have updated their website, but it currently says people age 12 and older. But you know, the word that went out today was, as of right now, you can start vaccinating people from age 5 on up. And so it may just be another day or two before they change this website.
Yeah.
So,
And the reason that I asked that is because when you look at the schedule for the bus, the dates for some of the closer clinics, like the Leverett Elementary, is
Mhm.
December 3rd. And so if
Right.
it's 5 to 11, then your second dose is the 24th. So
Oh,
it's,
great.
Right.
So I don't know that we want to,
Yeah.
I think we want to encourage people to seek out vaccination as soon
Yeah.
as they can and where they're able to find availability, and then
And-
promote these locations.
And that may be dependent on their having staff who are accustomed to vaccinating children. You know, there's a lot of people who don't want to vaccinate children because they haven't got experience doing it. And it is just, it's another, it's another ball of wax to deal with a frightened child. It's a whole different task. So it may be dependent on whether or not they've got staff on board who are comfortable with that.
Mhm. So do we know, well, first of all, are children being vaccinated at commercial pharmacies, or can they only be at these public sites or at the pediatrician's office?
I don't know that either. I'll find that out too.
I'm not sure on that.
I'm on mass.gov's website. COVID vaccinations for children 5 to 11. They're now approved. Some appointments are now available to be made with your child's healthcare provider, and appointments at hundreds of other sites will soon be available on VaxFinder mass.mass.gov.
Okay, so that suggests that commercial
they're-
pharmacies are going to
they're-
have them.
They're mobilizing, but
Yeah,
but right now they're saying with your child's healthcare provider,
mhm.
and soon to come would be many other sites.
Yeah, I just Googled one pharmacy, national chain pharmacy, and it says select pharmacies will offer it.
And
Yep.
that's
Okay.
probably also related to how
About-
comfortable their staff is with vaccinating children.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I know you're experienced at that, Arlene. Do you expect to be approached by any one of these,
Hmm.
like other kinds of, bus clinics or something?
I hadn't thought about that,
Oh,
but I'm sure it's a needed thing, but whether or not I'm ready to mobilize and do it is another
I hear you.
story. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's put out a message saying, reminding people that children as young as 5 are now eligible for vaccination. They should consult their pediatrician, and there's this Vax bus that they could sign up for now.
Mhm.
And if they don't, there's going to be other sites coming up soon, and we'll keep them informed.
Mhm.
Okay. Here's another question for you guys. From one of the people who routinely objects to our promoting vaccination, we got the weirdest damn message. Did you see it, Arlene? I know you sometimes look at these things.
I do sometimes, but just give me the gist of it. I have not read the Board of Health email every day recently, but I
Well,
read
it was
some,
like
but-
it was like a week ago, but so I put in the thing about having a rapid test if you're going to be doing certain things, and this person said this makes absolutely no sense. This can only be considered scare tactics to justify your injecting people. The tests, in scare quotes, are as dangerous as the serum. Please stop.
Right, I'm reading
Now-
that right now, yeah.
Yeah, now I realize that this is a person of extreme views, and that probably not too many people think this, but I just am wondering, should we be doing more public education?
Not to counter this, honestly.
Well, no, but it just makes
Yes.
me wonder if there are people out there thinking things that are not rational. just
No
in
doubt,
general.
right, no doubt there are.
Mm.
But I don't know, my sense is the numbers of people who are paranoid about the tests causing you harm is very few.
I would think
Um,
so.
I don't know that I've ever heard anybody suggest that the test is unsafe.
Sometimes I think that this person just makes this stuff up to piss us off. Right?
Well,
What can I
there's
say that would
been-
really infuriate them?
There's also been quite the conversation going on Nextdoor.
About vaccination or what?
God, it's gone off on this tangent. I can't even remember what the original post was, but I
Uh-huh.
can't stop myself and reading it.
I've avoided that as much as possible. I just don't want to
It's
know.
probably a good
Yeah,
idea
ditto.
to avoid it. Yeah.
Yeah. This having social media like this does not seem to me to be a really great idea.
Mhm.
Because what I notice is that people are always, I mean, obviously we have a bias here because we're part of town governance, but people, instead of just picking up the phone and calling, say, the highway department or the town clerk or the town administrator or the board of health, people get on social media and start griping.
Oh, I know what it was. The original post was someone who was bemoaning the fact that they had gone into the Cumberland Farm store in North Amherst and found a customer who seemed to be a friend of the cashier hanging out and chatting with them, socializing with them, maskless.
Uh-huh.
The cashier was masked, but the person was not. And anyway, they objected and said something to the staff, and the staff said, well, I'm not gonna make people mask, but there is a mask mandate in Amherst still in place. And so anyway, this, like I said, I couldn't stop myself and checking in, but it has gone off the rails. This particular conversation has really gone off the rails
Well, and that's,
with our friend contributing significantly on that. So
I see.
yeah.
Well,
So there's a lot of, I know this person writes to us accuses us of using fear or scare tactics, but I think
she knows whereof she speaks.
I think there's a lot of fear. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Of many things.
Well, I mean, obviously,
Oh.
absolutely, we have to admit that it's just about true that the tests are as dangerous as the vaccine, because neither of them is particularly dangerous at all. All right. Is there anything else that needs to come before us at this meeting? If there's anything else there, I have forgotten it, and I don't have it in my notes. Things are pretty quiet.
Good.
I have nothing further.
Okay.
I move we adjourn.
Oh, sounds like a great plan. All in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So
Be well, everyone.
is everybody up for a meeting